Yo, what's up everyone? Sir Toby here, back with another video, and today I wanted to talk about the reintroduced shield from Ultimatum League, Mahuxotls Machination. Now, Mahuxotls Machination has just like a bunch of keystones on it, and there's some on the market now. For the early days of the league, there was really none. I think they started out at like 20 divines or something, but it's been going down more and more. And if you look at Pure Ninja, there's not a lot of people playing with the shield, and I think that's probably because it's a little bit intimidating if you see just 5 keystones on here, and then you go onto the wiki and you see all of this text that describes what this shield does. So I thought I would break it down, talk about why I am using it, what I am building with it, and then maybe like show you like a little bit of gameplay with my build and show you how tanky you can get by using this shield, which I think is an absolute great shield, especially for the right side of the tree if you have spell suppress, and you don't want to just stack armor like a madman, as you would with something like Aegis, or you don't want to play with energy shield, something like that. This is a great alternative in my opinion, and it's especially amazing this league because it pairs really, really well with the Doryani's chest. As you can see, I think 2/3 of the people, so 4 out of 6 people here, are using the Doryani's prototype chest with this shield, because it completely turns off the downsides of the Doryani's prototype. But historically, it was incredibly hard to get the -200 lightning resistance that you wanted. But with the new Kalandra jewelry, this is, much, much easier and actually attainable at all. So first of all, let's talk about what the shield itself does. So it just gives you a bunch of Legion keystones pretty much. So let's go through them one by one. First, you get 15% of your life as extra energy shield, but all damage taken bypasses your energy shield. Now, there's also this line which is redundant, but basically you just have some energy shield, but the energy shield does not mitigate your damage taken at all. This energy shield is then used to give you a secondary effect that we are going to talk about in a second. So you gain energy shield as extra life as extra energy shield, but that energy shield does nothing. It's more or less just an extra resource that you manage. 50% of the elemental damage that you take is instead taken as chaos damage, and you take +5 to maximum chaos resistance. This is an incredibly strong defensive, Legion jewel keystone that you would usually get on, I think, the Glorious Vanity or the red, one of the red jewels. So this one here, which is on the Timeless Jewel Xibaqua version. Now, why is this so strong? It's because you stack maximum chaos resistance and you get 5% maximum chaos resistance from this keystone, so you're taking a lot less elemental damage. Now, it also means that half of your elemental damage taken is already converted to chaos, so 50% of your fire, lightning, and cold damage taken are now chaos damage. Now, the next thing that your shield does is give you 5 to all maximum resistances for 4 seconds if you've reached full energy shield. So this is the point where this management of the extra resource of the maximum energy shield we gain comes back in. Because every time you reach full energy shield, all that energy shield is, removed, and we gain +5 to all maximum resistances. That means that this shield alone already provides you +5% maximum resistances for the elemental resistances, and +5 to +10 to maximum chaos resistance, which is incredibly strong. You're at 85 maximum chaos resistance just from using this shield, more or less. Now, your energy shield starts at 0, you lose 5% of energy shield per second, and you cannot recharge or regenerate energy shield, so, this whole part here just means that you have to somehow gain these 15% of maximum life as extra energy shield. And if you have Overleech from this shield as well, so basically the shield is a Slayer ascendancy on a stick. And once you're on full life, your life leech instead of is now energy shield leech. That does not mean, however, that your energy shield is recovered in like half a second. It just means that you can recover energy shield like a little bit. This line is not really consequential at all. There is not much life energy shield to be gained from this effect. You get the Pact Keystone, so you have double life leech, so it's a lot of life leech. And then you just get less per stack of life leech, but that is completely negligible. This stat is pretty much irrelevant if you deal any sort of, good damage. And then the one downside this shield has, in my opinion, is that you have no more life regen. So if you cannot leech at all for a while, it can get quite annoying. So the main idea is that you want to maintain this keystone of 5 maximum all resistances for 4 seconds. And to do that, you have to gain, in my build's case, I think 1378 energy shield every 4 seconds. And for a lot of builds, that is quite hard. So the wiki lists like a whole range of options that you have. But most of those options are pretty bad. Watcher's Eye mod on hit means you have to use Discipline, which means that you get additional energy shield that you have to recover. Same with the boots, so this is not really a way that I would ever go for. Sorrow of the Divine, gives you Zelef's Oath, which is life recovery from flask applies energy shield, so you have to sacrifice 2 flask slots to get this effect. Not something I want to do. You can get energy shield on kill, but that is completely unreliable on single target. If you just grabbed on the tree, this node, for example, you would get 2% energy shield on every kill. So you have to kill 50 enemies, and then you get for 4 seconds your 5 maximum resistance, which is, it's okay, but it's not great. And then there is some other effects like the Demon Stitcher Gloves, which gives you energy shield for life, or, you have to automate it and stuff. And then the thing that really interests me, or that I went for, is Ghost Dance, so Ghost Shrouds. Now, this is also fairly unreliable against bosses, but it cannot recover energy shield to above evasion rating. We don't care about that. Obviously, our evasion rating is quite high, but we don't care about that at all, because our energy shield it's fine. Every 2 seconds we gain a Ghost Shroud, and then when hit, lose a Ghost Shroud to recover energy shield equal to 3% of your evasion rating. So my evasion rating is 39,407. If we go to a calculator, that means that it is 39407 times 0.03, and then we get to 1182.21 energy shield recovered every time we get hit. Now, that means that we cannot recover the entire energy shield in one hit, but that we have to get hit twice every 4 seconds to recover this energy shield. But that is no problem, because Ghost Dance pretty much exactly works out to do that. So the downtime of this effect is pretty much nothing. So we pretty much, while we're getting hit, we always have this keystone active that gives 5 maximum resistances. So that is why I went with Ghost Shrouds. In my opinion, it's pretty much enough if you get half your energy shield from these Ghost Shrouds. So, for example, I think 25,000 evasion rating would be enough to get 750 energy shield from Ghost Shrouds, which would then in turn be enough to keep this effect up almost indefinitely while mapping, while hitting stuff, while getting hit, essentially. Now, that's basically why we're using this shield. Now, the reason why I wanted to use the Doryani's prototype is that if you look at, this is my character, so I'm just going to do that. If you look at the armor, it says deal no non-lightning damage. Armor applies to lightning damage taken from hits. Lightning resistance does not affect lightning damage taken. Nearby enemies have lightning resistance equal to yours. This means that you're incredibly vulnerable still to lightning damage unless you have a boatload of armor, which 60k is pretty good, or 67k or whatever. I think this is with Molten Shell up, 60k without Molten Shell up. So that's pretty good, but it's by no means enough to feel safe, especially against like, high damage dealing monsters, or when using the altar nodes, stuff like that. And one big thing is that lightning damage over time completely is unmitigated, basically. So the main problem is that the mana siphoner mobs and any Baran mobs completely wreck you if you do not mitigate this somehow. So this is where this lethal pride comes in. So, whoops, I should go D&D. I forgot to do that. So this lethal pride gives me a keystone on the passive tree, and that keystone then turns the rest of my cold and lightning damage into fire damage taken. So we take half our cold and lightning damage as fire, and half our cold and lightning damage as chaos damage. And half of our fire damage is chaos as well. But yeah, that's basically what is happening here, and why I can completely ignore lightning and cold resistance, except that I want to make it negative. And the maximum minus resistance is minus 200, so I'm at minus 206. This keystone makes it harder to get to minus 200 because you only, negatively, you only get half the resistance, because it's a 0.5 multiplier that doesn't care about whether there's a minus or not in front of the number here. So it would make it twice as hard, not double as hard, twice as hard to get to positive 200, and it makes it twice as hard to go to negative 200 just because it's a 0.5 multiplier and not a minus something. Alright, so that is the main ideas here. And then when you have all that, you can then just focus on fire and chaos res or mitigation, and physical mitigation, and I'm getting some more, chaos res from Born of Chaos, and taking this node, which puts me at 89 chaos resistance while the 5% max res buff is up. And for my fire damage, I'm using a ruby flask, which also means that I'm taking 39% less fire damage because I'm using a mage blood, and 20% less fire damage if I was not using a mage blood. So yeah, that's the main idea of using all of these items together. So basically, this shield, because I'm mitigating all the downsides and I'm keeping it up, gives me 5% max res, it gives me Overleech, and it gives me a bunch of mitigation by converting a lot of my damage to chaos damage, which is then heavily mitigated by me having a very high chaos resistance. So let's see about the buff here. So if we go into Delve, I'm currently somewhere around like depth 400 or so. If you want to maybe see this in action while doing one of these, let's do a node that, I don't know, just this Azurite node, I don't know, at 400 something depth, which is, obviously not super deep, but it's also not very shallow. So a lot of builds might have damage issues at 450 or something. So you just run through, and then there should be, once I get hit, this buff icon that shows that my max res is active. And if you keep an eye on this on the top here, you can see that it's pretty much active the entire time while we get hit. And while running through these small mobs, if you don't get hit, the buff is not up, but that's fine because you're not getting hit anyways, so you don't care about this buff being up. So yeah, that's the... So if you take a look at this now, I just hold on right click, and the buff pretty much never runs out while I'm standing in the middle of all these mobs. And as you can see, my I'm standing on burning ground. I'm standing just in the middle of all these mobs, and they pretty much can't touch me. And that is mostly just because of my armor, my 60,000 armor, my 81 fire res, and 89 chaos res. And then at the same time, all these mobs have minus 200 lightning resistance. Now, I don't know if this is gonna be like, capable of delving down somewhere into the thousands. Because as far as I know, the meta delve builds currently is using Aegis Aurora, which is basically once you have enough armor, and your armor stack up probably, it just means that if you don't get one shot, your Aegis will instantly recover you to full life again. So you just have to mitigate down to being one shot. So in deep delve, Aegis might probably be better than this shield. But I think this shield is super fun to build around and super interesting to build around. So let's take a look at the 3 gear pieces that I'm using to get my minus lightning resistance. I've crafted all of these myself in the lake. Actually, I think I bought this for like 50C, but I've crafted this and this one in the lake myself. So this one just has, minus mana. I don't care about that. Minus lightning rest and minus crafted cold and lightning resistance. So this piece alone gives me around minus 63 lightning rest. This one gives me minus 40 lightning rest. This one gives me like minus 37 lightning rest. And then you have the minus 60 lightning rest that you start out from. So just from these 3 pieces, I get all of this negative lightning resistance. And it's great. I think this was 2 tries. If the energy shield was negative instead of positive, and the attacks, the lightning damage was positive instead of negative, this would be a perfect ring, just like this amulet, which is actually perfect because I needed the intelligence. I want the life. The fist damage to attacks was just a filler mod, but once I convert all of my damage to lightning damage, that doesn't even matter anymore. Because again, you can only deal non-lightning damage. No, you cannot deal non-lightning damage, Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's basically the idea behind this. And then minus maximum energy shield is just a positive, because it just means that you get more energy shield back. So yeah, this was a very, very convoluted way probably of talking about this shield and what this shield does. So this is the part where I end the description of what the shield does, and instead talk about a little bit about what I'm doing with my build, although it is incredibly cookie cutter. Is pretty much just the lightning strike champion that I threw on this keystone. I took this, chaos rest node, I went for ghost shrouds, and other than that, it's pretty much just a lightning strike champion that you could find in any of the guides you find online. This character is by no means perfect. I started playing it like a couple days ago. I've delved down to 450 with it so far, and that's pretty much all I've done with this build. What I want to do is craft boots with, ailment immunity, like you get like 67% I think on boots as highest, which I would really want that. And then I have to recraft these gloves. I would kind of want an abyss jewel for gloves, on gloves, so attack speed, abyss jewel, and spell suppress would be a dream, although I'm not sure if I can achieve that part, so I might have to get the spell suppress on the boots with the mitigation. But I will find a way to craft these eventually, I think. And then for the helmet, I just bought one real quick that has lightning strike, pierces targets, so if I can craft a better helmet, I have to craft a better helmet than this, obviously. And any more evasion instead of armor is also fine. But yeah, this is basically just the build. Just you stack as much minus lightning rest as you can. You get a claw that only gives lightning damage, attack speed. So I bought this for like 3 or 3.5 divines, with the lightning damage on it, and crafted, I think, fire damage. I removed the crafted fire damage. Put on hits can't be evaded, so I don't have to care about accuracy at all. And then slammed a Crusader Orb, because a Crusader Orb can either give you crit or flat lightning damage, both of which are really good on the prefix, so I have a really good chance of getting something good. In this case, I got complete garbage, but this claw is serviceable for now. So yeah, that's this build for now. Once I've improved this, I will probably talk about this more in depth. But yeah, this is... I think this shield is incredibly strong. The Overleech is super fun to get from just a shield. And I think the, building around it is really neat and it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, it's also a really cheap way to, get really tanky. Because the shield and ghost shrouds and stuff like that is just pretty damn cheap. And if you don't have a mage blood, you would instead just go for and you want to play lightning strike, you would instead go for what this guy does, which is just use perseverance, which is a perfectly fine belt that even gives you more damage than a mage blood would. And then you use all these flasks that have, used when charges reach full. Not quite sure why he's not using, charge gain on hit or whatever, or when hit. But that's what this guy is doing. And he's using Thunder Fists instead of, extra strike gloves, stuff like that. Yeah. So this guy also has an interesting build, I guess. And I think you can probably get started somewhere around 10-15 divines. Especially if you go for something that is not using Doryani's prototype and is instead a bit more interesting, maybe. Just like this guy here that is doing some sort of cast on crit, blade fall, reap, poison, item rarity. I don't even know what he's doing, but it looks fun. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I don't know. Really cool. So there's that. Yeah. So all around, I really just enjoy this shield. It's great. It's good fun, and you should try it if you also find this interesting. Oh, this guy's doing Lancing Steel Ice Spear, Eye of Winter, cast on crit as well. So yeah, there's like no limits to your creativity when it comes to this shield. And if you don't do Doryani's, you don't even have to stack negative resistances, so you can just get a plus 3 maximum maximum fire as leadership price, get alternative ailments and stuff like that. It's amazing. So like leadership price with this fucking shield means that you get to 78, 83 fire rest just from those two items. You get alt ailments. It's great. Like, you don't have to buy, you can buy like -3 lightning, -3 cold. I don't know. Overall, I love this shield. It's great, and I think more people should try it. As I said, there's like no limits to your creativity. And overall, the world is your oyster if you understand what a shield is. So yeah. Feel free to leave any comments in the questions in the comments. I feel like I've rambled way too much to understand this on the first go. So yeah, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And if you have any feedback on the build, I'm just gonna leave a POB in the description if you want to look at it and make fun of it, because it's so basic and I just, do Lightning Strike like everyone else does. Feel free to do that. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye!